And now, broadcasting live from the Darkroom studio at Craven Community College, it's In the Know.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Megan's looking at her phone.
I wanted to make sure the volume was off.
No, that's good. I appreciate that. Yeah.
So when my daughter calls in that funny ringtone that I have that identifies her.
Sing it for us again.
No, it's one of those, Mama.
Yes,
Mama!
That's right. Yeah.
It sounds like a crying
it just keeps
baby.
Going, yeah.
It gets louder and louder.
Family Guy? Is that what it's from?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. It's very reflective of her personality. But this is that time of day that she may call me. So I just want to make sure it's off.
So you've caught us right in the middle of messing with our phones, as is kind of how life is for everybody these days, right? We're always kind of messing with our phones. But welcome to In the Know. This is the podcast we do every week here from the campus of Craven Community College in New Bern. We're here in the Darkroom studio located in Barker Hall with Public Radio East Studios. I'm Craig Ramey, but I don't do this show by myself. I got my pal over here next to me.
Megan Johnson. Hey, guys. So glad you're here with us today. It's March 9th, 9 o'clock in the morning, but we're hoping that you're going to watch this on repeats, of course, on YouTube. And if
watch it over and over for Easter eggs.
And hit the little click like, yes, thumbs up. Wee, I love it. And subscribe as well.
Hit the wee button.
Hit the wee.
Yes.
And of course, we got somebody who makes us look good and sound
That's right.
good, right?
Yes.
So good morning, Zanetta in the booth. How's everything going in there?
Hi, good morning. Going pretty great today.
Awesome. So we are also very fortunate. We've got a little teaser drop. We got a great guest today, Tom McCabe, who is a local photographer who has been a part of the community college fabric. And there he is. Hello. Good morning, Tom.
Good
Good morning.
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay? Am I close enough to the mic?
I love it. You got your booming voice going. I don't think he needs a microphone.
No.
I think so.
Yeah, so we're glad Tom's here with us, and we're going to talk a little bit about photography, about classes, about art shows, and but before we get there, we'll talk a little bit about the National Day of and the National Month of.
This is what we do on this show.
This is what we do.
We make sure everybody knows they're in the know of what the thing is of the day so that they can have fun with it for the rest of the day.
And hopefully it's a fun little tip or a something that's humorous or something you can take to heart. Or
we just want to brighten your day and make your mind a little sharper and happier and more full of life experience. That's what we're doing.
It is, and I think that a lot of these are, our guests are reflective lately of a lot of the things that we've been doing. So, like we had National Heart Day, and we had a cardiologist, and this month last week we had the Bridge Run folks talking about the upcoming Neuse River Bridge Run.
Yeah.
Well, this happens to be National Nutrition Month, and I know nutrition's very important to the three of us, and I know exercise is a regular routine as well for.
I love that graphic.
For the eat this, not that. Especially for the two of you. I'm not as disciplined with when it comes to exercise as you two are. Yeah. In fact, I think not that I almost hit you, but I didn't. I turned into my last little dead end street. You were on Hawthorne.
Yes.
And I didn't know it was you until all of a sudden I got it close enough, and there's like reflective tape as if it's like some construction cone.
Look,
he's glowing in the dark.
I'll always do this public service announcement.
Yes.
I have been almost hit by cars enough times to where it's very concerning, and I worry about other people's safety, my own safety, and I wish people would just slow down. Seriously.
I was a good 50 yards away, but I was so, at this point, if you are taking a run and I'm just now getting home from work, you know it was a long day for me. So I was ready to pull in that driveway. Yeah. So anyway, but yes.
I appreciate you not hitting me.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I did recognize you though. But again, National Nutrition Month. So let's find a healthy balance of diet, exercise, rest, and unfortunately we can't get away from heredity traits. So that's really important. So there's 6. I'm going to go quick 6 little simple ways to redesign your lifestyle.
Okay.
Reducing and eliminating sugary drinks and sodas. I haven't had a soda, and I loved. I was addicted to Diet Coke and Diet Dr. Pepper. I haven't had one in 12 years.
That's great.
Yeah. They also, for me, they overproduce acid. So they tell your body. Well, for me, I overproduce. So it was not a good thing. Eat piles of vegetables. You love vegetables.
I go to the vegetable pile section every time I'm in Harris Teeter.
They're low in calories, high in nutrition. Serve smaller portions. And as you guys know, that my husband recently had that health scare a year ago. And Tom has known Gary for, 20 years, 15 years at
close,
least.
Yeah.
And my husband was a big guy. I mean, he liked to eat. So now he only gets to eat what I give him. So it's really, I mean, it's...
I can tell he's lost weight.
70 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about modification, right? So modify, you never eliminate something that might give you joy, but you can have it in a little portion size. So
it's portion control is really how I've ever been able to lose weight or maintain it when I'm trying to change it in any way. It's about how much I'm eating, not how often.
And then eat smarter snacks. That little donut. So eat that little pretty green apple instead of the donut, right? So the donut might look good, but it will leave you unsatisfied very quickly.
It's true.
Yep.
You win the battle in the grocery store, I say.
Yes. And it's loaded
Does Zanetta agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
And it's loaded in sugar, and we're going to talk about sugar on our next day of in just a second.
Okay.
Meal kits. Have you ever ordered those? Like the mail order meal kits?
Once or twice.
I have not. And
I didn't really
Zanetta,
stick
have
with
you
it.
done that?
I got a free
I
coupon.
did,
That was how I
and
did
it quickly got overwhelming.
Really? Okay. Well, you and I meal prep. So, in fact, I need to talk to you about kimchi. My daughter loves kimchi, so I want that recipe. And also, be careful when you're dining out. So go to the menu that says lighter side. Go and enjoy. Have somebody else do the dishes for you, but don't have everything on your plate brown and fried.
If you're going out to eat, you've kind of given up on the nutrition part of it. Not necessarily. There are plenty of places where you can order a salad, and there's a couple of handful of places that are nutritious, but for the most part, if you're going out to eat, you're going to get 3 times the portion that you actually need.
Yes.
And the calories are going to be triple what if you had made it at home.
And that's one of the things they say, if you do eat out, eat half of it, ask for a to-go box. So, but back to the sugar, I was talking about it. Today's also World Kidney Day. So we got to take care of our body and take care of our kidneys. They help filter all that nonsense out, right? We put it in and it filters it out for us. So several health conditions that impact our kidneys. And here's a few. Diabetes is one of the leading causes of kidney failure. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so again, be careful of that sugar. High blood pressure weakens blood vessels, including the ones in your kidneys. So make sure your blood pressure stays under control. High cholesterol impacts how well your kidneys work and can also lead to high blood pressure and diabetes. So it's kind of like it's a cycle, you know? Bad nutrition in causes all kinds of other stuff out, right?
Yeah, so just eat right and everything will be fine. That's the message I'm getting from you.
I'm hoping so.
Yes.
Anorexia.
It's bad for kidneys?
Bad for kidneys. Unhealthy balance of water, electrolytes, salt, and body. Lupus, that immune system, autoimmune system can attack parts of the body. And people that have cysts on their kidneys. So again, we say all the time, listen to your body.
Yes.
Can you live with only one kidney?
Well, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, people donate them, and they're able to survive with one after theirs have failed, and they're able to get one from somebody else. So, yeah.
Our kidney disease is hereditary.
I assume.
Both our genes and lifestyle choices can impact the health of our kidneys. So the answer is yes. So that is our little PSA for the day.
Very good.
Yes. Stay healthy.
I'm trying.
Yes.
Look how much water I have on the table every time. Yes.
Oh, I've got a student in my...
Or you're going to tell me that drinking water is bad for my kidneys, maybe.
No, that's good because it helps flush your kidneys.
Okay, good.
So I have a student in my Tools for Advanced Manufacturing class, and I was sitting in the back of the class watching, and he's an active duty Marine, Tom, and he goes down to the floor to pick up his water bottle. And this thing is like this big. It's a giant jug. And it wasn't like a milk jug. It was this huge, enormous,
I've seen
like
more and more people
Yeti
with these
style
things.
thing.
I don't get it. I worry that that's actually bad for kidneys because it seems like too much water.
I don't know.
Zanetta says no, probably not. I'm not a doctor. We should clarify this. If you could put something at the bottom of the screen that says Craig's not a doctor.
We just play one on TV.
Yeah, it's one of those that's, it's got the line all the way up. It's like,
well, you're
just starting. You can almost do it. You're almost there. You did it. Have you seen those?
I'd be running to the potty. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That would be the the top line.
It is a lot.
Where'd Megan go?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Actually, this one didn't have any writing on it. He had a bunch of stickers like your water bottle. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, again, we have this wonderful guest at the end of our table, Mr. Tom McCabe. Tom, again, thank you for being here with us.
My pleasure.
And you've got, you've got many years that you've been part of the college with instruction. What was the year you thought you started back?
Since around 2010. Dave Sousa was a guy who taught classes like this. His health failed on him, and he called me and asked me if I would be willing to take over his classes. And I think that was in 2010. Sadly, he since passed away several years ago. But he was a great guy. He was a commercial photographer from New York.
Okay.
And then there's a small gap in time when the adult enrichment program kind of faded away. And then when Susan Moffett Thomas resurrected it, you joined her team and started teaching these digital photography classes.
Yes.
And then I got on board.
Yeah.
And then I got to know Tom. And so he taught a lot of classes for us. And they were very, very popular. We had to put caps on them because we had a lot of folks that wanted to take it.
Yeah.
And but he has some really, we're going to talk about his classes in just a minute. And he had one that started last night. So
they're one of our most popular classes.
Yes.
People love learning photography.
Yes.
And of course they do. I mean, it's so much fun.
Yes. And Tom, you brought some props with us. You know, you teach not just great photography and how to have a good eye, but you know, we use these all the time now for our photography. But tell us, what are we missing by not using some of the other equipment?
Well, by and large, don't get me wrong, I love digital photography, but it does have a tendency to make photography a little bit too easy. And so a lot of thought doesn't go into it anymore because it's just point, click, 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 click.
Pick the prettiest one.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, you know, in the days when photographers were photographing weddings with cameras similar to this, Graflex cameras, they would shoot maybe 12 or 16 photographs for the entire wedding.
Sure, yeah.
It's not unusual now for a wedding photographer to shoot 2,000 images at a wedding.
Yeah, and that's a lot to go through, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you got the back end of that where you have to call all that stuff out and find the 200 or so that the bride might want to make a book out of.
And I would guess the ones they were doing with the large format, those were typically posed, right? They're probably not a whole lot of candids with the large format.
It's not action photography to use a camera like this. No, you're right. It was mostly posed. They didn't worry about photographing the reception or the dance because I suppose in those days there wasn't a lot of that going on anyway.
Right.
You know, so I don't know, but anyway, that's how much it's changed, and it's changed a lot, but not necessarily better, just easier, and easier brings its own problems.
Yeah.
You know,
So is that film down there that you?
Yes.
Orange.
This camera is called a field large format view camera, and the film comes in boxes like this.
Okay.
And this is all exposed film in here, so it's not a problem. But the film actually comes in 4x5 sheets like this. This is a negative of my wife that I took when I was working with this camera.
We'll hold it up to the camera over here.
Which one?
If you just hand it to me, I'll hold it.
There we go.
Can you see that?
So that's a negative. It's 4x5 inches in size. And
That's so cool.
It is very cool.
it fits in here. So this film holder will hold 2 sheets, one on each side. And in pitch dark, you have to slide that film in here, close that up, and then you can fit it in the camera. You put one on each side, so it'll take 2 sheets. And it fits in here like that. And then you take this dark slide out, take the photograph, turn the dark slide over. There's a black slide and a silver side. So you turn it over so the black side is out so you know it's been exposed.
So do you have like a blackout bag that you keep in the field or something like that so you can reload those?
I do, but I haven't had any. What I'll do is...
I mean, you can't just have 20 of those
just
walking
sounded
around.
funny.
Well, yes, you can.
I mean, yeah, I guess you can. Do you want to, though?
The problem with using a bag like that in the field is dust. Dust and dirt and trash get in there, and they show up on the negative.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem.
Gotcha.
I have an inside the building bathroom that has no windows in it, and I turn off all the peripheral lights in the rooms outside and go in there at night, and that's when I load these. And I've got about 8 of these, so that's 16 photographs.
Okay, sure.
And I plan to get more. This is not practical action photography. You know, you don't do sports with this.
That's true. Yeah.
There's a lot of thought that has to go into it. And when I started this project, photographing Vietnam veterans, I dragged this camera out. I hadn't used it in about 8 years, and so anything you can screw up, I did. You know, loading the sheet film in here at night, 2 sheets instead of 1.
Yep.
Forgetting to close up the box before I turn the lights back on, dropping the box on the floor and scattering 4x5 unexposed film all over the place.
Oh, jeez.
You name it, I did it.
Well, you know, this was the dark room
I know.
here for the college.
Yeah,
so it's really kind of neat that you're talking about
and
that.
I kind of wish it was still here, because for anybody who really wants to learn photography, the best way to do it is with black and white film.
Yeah. That was my start.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do it like actually.
Black and white film. Yeah. I mean, I'm
and
not.
Did you do the developing?
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
never was able to do prints, but I used to work at the Carteret County News-Times in Morehead City, and I was a sports reporter. And I got hired because I could write, but I didn't have any photo experience. And he said, "Well, you're going to learn." And so he taught me how to, roll the film onto the spool, 35 millimeter onto the spool in the dark. And it's nerve-wracking, right? Like you talk about the mistakes that you make. You don't know what you've got until you come home and start to develop it, and you realize it's underexposed or it's out of focus or all kinds of problems that could happen.
That's why you have to put some thought into what you're doing so that you're not wasting money. A box of film like this, a 50-sheet box of film, this is a 20-sheet box, but a 50-sheet box is $200.
Oh, wow.
So it's costing you money to make mistakes.
Yeah.
So you need to really think about what you're doing. And
that, like the little green knobs that are on the top, those are levelers. So
these are levelers.
That would also help to eliminate some of the mistakes, because this
Well,
would be on a tripod.
some of it, yeah.
This would be set on a tripod, correct?
Mm-hmm. So you do shoot this on a tripod. It's not practical because the shutter is up here in the lens. So
it's not in the back.
No, it's in the lens right
Okay.
here. So when you focus and compose with a camera like this, there's no prism in here either. So everything is upside down and backwards. So you have to keep that in mind, that if you move the camera this way, it's going to move the image the opposite direction because everything is backwards.
So let's jump to your classes. Your class that you offer here for Community Enrichment Program. What are the 3 big highlights or takeaways that a student will get coming to your class?
Well, first of all, one of the most difficult issues is with digital cameras, every one of them is different. They've got a whole different menu set up and all that stuff. And learning the camera and how to use it intuitively is probably the hardest thing. Now, I learned in the last class I did that you can't teach that in the classroom. If people have questions about how to use their camera, we have to meet off campus some other time.
Bring your owner's manual.
Bring the manual, and if you possibly can, find the aftermarket manual.
Oh.
Because the manual that comes with the camera, first of all, for me, the type is way too small. I can't read it anymore anyway. And in a lot of cases, it was written by, if it's a Canon camera, a Nikon, they're made in Japan. So it was written by Japanese engineers and translated in English for American photographers. Good luck. But there are several authors out there who write aftermarket books, and they take these cameras, the manufacturers give them to them, and they'll put it through all its paces, and they'll write a book about how to use it, and it's much better. They're a little bit expensive, $30 to $40 probably for the book, but they're almost all available on Amazon or something like that. And that's a far better option than trying to figure out that book. It's written they're written in a more logical sequence than you'd find with the
But so your class does have some technical aspects to it.
Some,
right?
yes.
Yes, but it's is it more composition? And
well, it's the real difference between film photography and digital photography is nothing more than what happens after you take the photograph, how you process it. So the class, well, even though it's advertised as a digital photography class, it's a photography class.
Sure.
And we talk about composition. We talk about all the things that are related to it. But usually the first night of class, I'm bending everybody's ear about printing their photographs, because if you don't, the digital image is nothing but ones and zeros, and anything electronic will ultimately fail. So if you don't print the significant images, the significant family members and significant events, sooner or later they'll be lost. And you can talk about the cloud and putting these images up on the cloud, but by and large, that's nothing but somebody else's hard drive. And
And then you forget the passwords like I have and can't figure out how to retrieve them.
Well, plus that's also a medium that doesn't require something else to access it, right? Like that's basically
like
what we're talking about, right?
Right.
Yeah, like I used to have a 60mm projector. Then I stopped using the film that I had, and I sold it at a yard sale one time, and a woman came by and bought it because she had in the attic all these tapes of her dad or film of her dad playing football that she had never been able to access. And without that projector, they're just pieces of plastic and celluloid that you can never access.
That's right. So there is a medium that you have to use. So, but when you think about it, that medium changes so quickly as the technology increases. I mean, when was the last time you saw a VHS tape or a 16mm film? You know, so even today, books on CD, how long are they good for? You can't buy a new car with a CD player in it anymore. So all that technology moves on and moves on and moves on. So
She's old.
In the future, what do we do? I mean, you know, for the most part, your kids and maybe even your grandkids, you know, okay, Grandpa took a bunch of photographs, no big deal. But they're going to have grandkids someday. And their grandkids might be interested in who I was or who you were at some point. And if there's only digital files, they're going to have to look for the landfill that they're buried in because that's where they're going to be.
Right.
And whereas if you print it, I mean, even a cheap print that you get from Walgreens or Walmart or something like that, if it's not in the direct sun, it'll last for 75 years before it really starts going bad. And nowadays, it's hard to find albums to put your photographs in, but there are a lot of venues out there where you can create a book, which is essentially the same thing. You're just printing the image on the page in the book rather than sticking it in something. So those are better options than...
They also make great gifts.
Yeah, sure they do. Yeah.
So speaking of printing and having the opportunity to enjoy, tell us a little bit about your art show that you have down at the Bank of the Arts.
Okay. Well, I'm a life member of the Vietnam Veterans of America. There's my hat.
Ta-da!
The VVA started in 1978 because Vietnam veterans, by and large, had no voice. A lot of us were turned away by the VFW, and that's not disparaging of the VFW. It's just a misunderstanding about that war, and we're not going to get into that. But the organization, the parent organization of the VVA, is dissolving in 2028. It's going away. There isn't going to be any more Vietnam Veterans of America.
Wow.
And the reason is we're all in our 70s and 80s now, and there's no more coming up behind us. We're it. We're the only ones.
Right.
So the organization is going away, and so I thought, well, this would be a good opportunity to do a project. And I have a friend who teaches a class on doing project photography, and I took it. And thought this would be a good opportunity. So I started looking at how I was going to do this. How am I going to approach this? Well, by and large, I did not want to do digital photography for this for the main reason that we didn't have digital photography in the 60s. So if I'm going to photograph these guys, I want to do it on film.
Keep it authentic.
Yeah. And but I didn't have anything other than a 35mm camera, which I didn't think was adequate for something this important.
Yep.
Out came this baby here. So I started working with this. And I ended up with 35 veterans that I photographed. And almost every one of them gave me a photograph of them in country, in Vietnam in the 1960s. Right. And that photograph is up next to the portrait of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And to give you an idea of how we had hair and, you know, skinny and stuff.
Muscles.
We can see a couple of them up on the screen now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go.
And this is at the Bank of the Arts now?
It's at the Bank of the Arts now.
Okay, great.
The only difference up there now from what you see there is the small photograph is on the side. Because of the way it's lit. It's top lit, so the frame cast a shadow across about half of that photograph if it was underneath. So we moved it to the side. And it'll be up there the entire month of March.
Okay.
And there are 35 veterans up there and from all services, and 5 of them are women. There's 5 women up there. 3 are nurses. One of them was a donut dolly. And the donut dolly girls work for the Red Cross. And they came over there as a morale kind of thing, just to come and visit us and talk with us and bring a little bit of home. 3 of them died over there. Wow. And one is Frankie Waters. Some of you know her. She was a flight attendant on TIA. And so she flew troops in and out of Vietnam for several years and actually was required to carry a Geneva Convention card because they flew in and out of places where they could have got shot down.
Right.
Wow.
And if she would have survived, then she could have been a POW, so she needed that Geneva Convention card. So I wanted to include her.
Are the folks that we're seeing pictured, are they local, part of your local organization, or did you travel?
See, who is it? On the left is Jane. She was one of the nurses, Jane Knoll. And on the right is Dobert Owsley, who's the president of the local Vietnam Veterans of America chapter. And they're both local. Not everybody's local. Most of them are. But my brother came, and I photographed him for this project. And occasionally I'd run across somebody like Joe Fuller. I ran across Joe in the commissary at Cherry Point when I was doing some grocery shopping with my wife, and he had his Vietnam veterans hat on. So he lives in Havelock. So I talked to him, and he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll come." So he came to sit for me, and occasionally there would be someone like him, and there were people I didn't know that someone else knew, and sent to me and put me in contact with them. So I photographed them.
So tell us, how many Vietnam vets did you actually photograph for this particular display?
36.
Okay.
But I only had 35 frames.
Is yours the one that got stuck in the back?
No.
Oh.
They insisted I put mine up there. Mine's not a selfie. I set up everything the same way that I did all of these. But Jim Wolchin, a great local photographer, came over and tripped the trigger. So that's one I didn't take.
Yeah.
Jim took it. But, it was a catharsis for me to do this, because I came to realize that, first of all, my experiences in Vietnam were not unique, and it gave me pause to look at them again. But one of the other things is my photography tends to be scattered. You know, I'll photograph this and I'll photograph that, and this gave me an opportunity to focus on one thing and to get it right. But I had a lot of issues with this camera because it sat for so long. And the biggest issue was, first of all, there was a lot of trash that was showing up on the negatives. Where's that coming from? Well, I thought it was coming from in here. So whenever I load film, I blow this out with some compressed air and make sure it's clean, but that didn't make any difference. So I did a little research and talked to some guys that were on a website that's got some large format. This is considered a large format camera. And one of them came back and said, well, what makes you think it's a film holder? Most of that trash comes from inside the bellows. So both ends of this camera come off, so I went in there and vacuumed that out, and my wife has small hands, and she went in there with a wipe and wiped out all the little crevices. That took care of the trash. But there were other problems I couldn't figure out. Why am I getting overexposed images when I know what I'm doing? Well, it turns out that because this sat folded up for so long, almost every one of these little corners on both sides had a pinhole leak in it.
Oh, so light was getting in.
So there was light coming in there from everywhere. Oh, what do I do now? Well, this bellows can be changed. So I did some research on who does that, and I can't find anybody who does it anymore. But I could find bellows assemblies. But they were all only available on eBay, and they're all from China. So I had some concerns about that. I ordered one, but I wasn't going to change this until I was done. Because if I took the old one off and damaged it more than it was, then I couldn't put it back on, and then the new one didn't fit, what do I do? I had no choice.
Humpty Dumpty situation.
Yeah, so the old bellow was about 70% gaffer's tape by the time I was done, because I was taping up all these little things.
Yeah.
And I got it to where I could shoot it inside because the light was so directional. But if I took it outside to shoot it, I couldn't do it because the light's coming in from everywhere, and there were still plenty of leaks.
So, Tom, we are wrapping up to our 30-minute mark, but I want one more thing I want you to share, because I know you're also part of a club, a photography club, and Zanetta, obviously not just professionally, but she's just an avid photographer. So there's other people like them. Can they come and join your club?
Yes,
and
they
can. How do they participate?
The club is called the Coastal Photo Club, and coastalphotoclub.com is the website.
Okay.
And you can join simply by filling out an application on that and mailing it in, or calling us. We meet in the Centenary Methodist Church in the basement on the second Saturday of every month at 9:30 in the morning. So if you come in the New Street door, turn right and take the elevator down, you can join that way just by coming to visit and see what we do.
Awesome.
We have about 125 members. It's a very active club. We do a lot of outdoor shooting and a lot of things that instead of just talking about it, we have at least one long presentation and one short presentation every month.
Okay.
Where someone will address some issue about photography that somebody might be interested in.
Very good.
It's definitely worth joining. It's $20 a year.
Is there an age limit?
No, there's no age limit.
Okay.
We have little kids too. And if it's a family, husband and wife or something like that, it's $30 a year for both of you.
All right, super.
So it's an inexpensive way to learn photography. It's a good way to learn photography.
And it's fun, too, when you got a group of people that are working toward the same project.
Right.
Let's all go to this place and see what we come back with.
Right, and we have a wide range of experience in there, from retired professionals to someone who just picked up a camera and trying to figure out which way to point it. So we take in all kinds of folks, and everybody's there for the same reason, and there's no secrets.
That's fabulous.
So, yeah, it's great.
Well, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on this weekend or the rest of the week, and part of it is your exhibit, so we'll get to that. You want to start us off?
Sure.
Yay.
So, on March 9th, that's
today.
That's today, yes. Okay. The Malpas Brothers in concert at Riversea Fields Performing Arts Center. The Malpas Brothers are the real deal, folks. You'll find no pretense with this act, as their music is steeped in the country legacy of the Louvin Brothers, Johnny Cash, Marty Robbins, and Hank Williams. Hank Williams Sr., that is. They have opened for Merle Haggard and shared billing with Willie Nelson, Rhonda Vincent, Marty Stewart, and Doc Watson. Hailing from Goldsboro, North Carolina, the duo made their Grand Ole Opry debut in 2018 and have performed in halls and at festivals from the Shetland Islands to Merle Fest and throughout North and South Carolina, Tennessee, and Texas. And also, I would add that the Bonafides are opening up for them as well. Local band, a lot of fun. Everybody likes to see old George playing his banjo, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
All right, Art Walk tomorrow, March 10th, 5 to 8 p.m. That's Friday, March 10th, downtown New Bern. Art Walk is a monthly event with several participating businesses in downtown New Bern featuring local artists. March's Art Walk will have the opening reception of the, in quotes, not painted to go with your couch, and the Vietnam Legacies exhibit at the Bank of the Arts. Not painted to go with your couch is an exhibit of Brenda Baer's plein air, oil, and watercolor works throughout her career. Her work has been showcased in numerous galleries, including Fort Wayne Museum of Art, Arundel Museums, Greenville Museum of Art, and now a solo exhibition here in New Bern. Also, Vietnam Legacies features our own Tom McCabe, our guest today, and his film portraits of Vietnam veterans next to their service photos during the Vietnam War.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to probably go see it tomorrow or Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be up all month.
Yep. Great. Shrek the Musical opens tomorrow, March 10th, from 7:30 to 10 p.m. at the Masonic Theater. Join the Rivertown Players for opening night of Shrek the Musical. There will be shows March 10th through 12th, 17 through 19, and 24 through 26. Make room for ogre-sized family fun as the greatest fairy tale never told comes to life in a whole new way with this musical adaptation of the hit movie, Shrek. Tickets can be purchased at rivertownplayers.org.
Who's your favorite Shrek character?
Donkey.
Mine too.
Yes, yeah.
I love Donkey. Is this a junior program, or is this a teen adult cast?
It's an adult cast as far as I know.
Very cool. Okay. Tryon Palace March Garden Lecture, March 11th, the Coleman Performance Hall at North Carolina History Center. This month's garden lecture focuses on plants best adapted to face the weather challenges of eastern North Carolina. Attendees will be treated to a sneak peek of the plants that will be available at the Tryon Palace Spring Plant Sale, and they will learn how they can be used in their home landscape. The lecture begins at 10:30 a.m. and has a suggested donation of $3. Of course, be more generous if you can. And again, that's March 11 at 10:30 this weekend.
And coming up, I believe this is next week, March 14th from 7:30 to 10 p.m., it's Mr. Ho's Orchestratica Quintet at the New Bern Civic Theater. From Mr. Ho to the word Orchestratica, the name can kick off so many questions. Maybe you're wondering what the heck Orchestratica is. Orchestratica is a vehicle to explore the music inside Brian O'Neill and his ensemble. These gentlemen share an appetite for adventure that is accompanied by what sounds like, at least to their ears, a global jazz and exotic chamber music soundtrack. They describe it as, quote, a story-driven mashup of global jazz and classical adaptations. Tickets can be purchased at newberncivictheater.org, and the VIP package includes an after-party at Baxter's 1892 with the musicians.
Very good.
Yeah.
And we're closing out today, but we can't wait for next week. So, In the Know, episode number 44, March 16th at 9 a.m. So join us live on Facebook, facebook.com/CravenCC, or catch the replay on our YouTube channel. You can join us, and next week we'll have Brian Wayne of the Young Professionals of Craven County. We'd like the podcast to grow.
Yes.
And so if you would like to follow and share, and if there's something you'd like to see or like to be on the show, please reach out to us.
Yeah. Leave a comment on this show. Tell us a guest you would like to suggest, or if you want to be on the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one healthy thing you're going to do to take care of your kidneys. Throw that on there.
Oh,
From the
I thought you were
comments.
asking me. I wasn't
No,
ready.
I
Okay.
want them to-
Yes. I'm just going to keep
Wasn't
drinking
ready.
water and trying to not
Exercise
abuse them.
and eat right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good. You're all good.
A couple of quick announcements before I forget. Students need to remember to apply for graduation. I believe the deadline is March 15th. Is that right? Yes. Okay. So students, don't forget to do that. You've worked hard for it. Don't miss out on one of the best parts, which is actually walking across the stage and getting to graduate. We also have a career fair, I believe, next Saturday for early childhood educators. So if there's really a need in our community for people to work in early childhood education, and so please do come out and if you're interested in
I did hear
those
something that
opportunities.
you and Fenton may enjoy. There's a fly fishing workshop at the Carteret Community College auditorium.
Okay.
And double check that, make sure. But it's going to be Sunday, and I want to say it starts around 9 o'clock, 9 to 1. But check that out if you're interested. And it's world-renowned fly fishing, especially saltwater, are going to be there to show you how to cast, tie, all that fun stuff.
Very
so if you've
cool.
never had exposure, you just want to go look. But look up that. I know I heard that on the radio, and it's free.
All right. I'll look into it.
Family friendly.
Very
so
cool.
we like that.
All right.
Tom, thanks again so much for being here.
Thank you very much for having
Really
me.
appreciate it. Can't wait to go down, see Art Walk, and see your exhibit. And thank you again for not only your service, but also what you continue to do here in our community. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This has been a wonderful show. Zanetta, thank you for keeping us straight. We appreciate it so much. And we are going to sign off. So stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you the next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.